Coming up on Channel 8 News, Trayvon Martin's mother visits K-State, the bill gets a facelift, and an 8-year-old boy with leukemia fulfills a lifelong dream.
As well as a special visit with the Sunset Zoo. It is pretty chilly today, but how long will it stay that way?
Let's go to our weatherman, John Zetmeyer, to see what it's like outside. John?
Yeah, thanks guys. Actually, after 2 days of rain, the sun started to come out, as we can kind of see up here. The sun's out, a little bit of clouds. We'll see what's going on. It's starting to warm up, not as cold as it was when we came into the studio this morning. So we'll find out later on in my 5-day forecast. Stay tuned.
Channel 8 News, KKSU LP. From Manhattan and Riley County. From Kansas State University. This is Channel 8 News.
Welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Jason Beats.
And I'm Caleb Jones. Coming up on today's show, an update on the university's social media policy and this week's weather forecast.
Springtime usually means severe weather across the Midwest. This Sunday brought a severe storm system that produced a tornado, killing at least 3 people from Arkansas and Oklahoma. Baxter Springs was the hardest hit town in Kansas. This tornado left at least 34 injuries and damaged over 150 homes and a dozen businesses in the area.
Recent cold weather is causing fruit buds to die. Ward Upham of the K-State Extension Office says to check if your bud survived. Cut open one of the buds from the base to the top. If it is green within the bud, then it survived. If the inside is brown, say goodbye to any fruit from that tree this season. The trees themselves are still going to produce fruit for next season, so keep them around. In 2012, Trayvon Martin was shot and killed after an encounter with George Zimmerman. The court case sent news stations and social media into a frenzy.
Tuesday, April 1st of this year, the KSU Black Student Union hosted Sabrina Fulton, mother of Trayvon Martin. Reporter Johnny Harvey was there to hear her words.
Thanks, guys. After living what Sabrina Fulton called a nightmare she could not wake up from, she traveled the U.S., sharing her words and her experience. On the night of February 26, 2012, Sabrina Fulton's life was irrevocably changed.
Something is seriously wrong if you have a person that's 17-year-old that's being pursued, a confrontation happens, the 17-year-old is dead, and the adult goes home to sleep in his bed without a care in the world.
After grieving the loss of her son, Fulton has found strength to transform her life.
But this is more of a personal question for me. How do you keep yourself from hating?
Let me just say that, and I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I haven't forgiven, but I don't hate. Because I know if I hate, it's going to block my blessing, and I have to receive what's mine.
Through founding the Trayvon Martin Foundation, Fulton now uses her tragedy to inspire and help others.
The weapon. See, everybody is looking at the victim, which means if I had been raped, then you'll be looking at my short skirt.
An unprecedented act. The KSU Black Student Union inducted Trayvon Martin as the first honorary member, recognizing the influence his death has had in gun law awareness and for the efforts of his mother. Sabrina Fulton is an incredibly strong woman and is dedicating her life advocating for gun law awareness and giving meaning to a terrible loss. Fulton is hosting an event called Circle of Mothers, Women Inspiring Women to Transform Communities, May 16th through the 18th in Florida. For more information about the Trayvon Martin Foundation, go to TrayvonMartinFoundation.org.
Thank you, Johnny. Florence Manufacturing Company in Manhattan is looking to expand their workforce with a $7 million investment over the next several months. The company will be adding 100 new jobs. Florence Manufacturing is one of Riley County's largest industrial employers. They manufacture and distribute postal specialty products all across North America. You can apply in person to Human Resources at 5935 Corporate Drive, Manhattan, Kansas, or fill out an online application.
The Riley County Police Department is investigating a report involving electronic solicitation filed on April 22nd. The investigation involves a 19-year-old male from out of state sending sexually explicit messages through internet connection to a 14-year-old Manhattan female. At this time, no arrests have been made. The Kansas Board of Regents created a social media policy that currently restricts what faculty and college employees can and cannot say on sites such as Facebook or Twitter. A statewide work group of university personnel has formed to come up with proposed changes to the current policy.
Channel 8 was in Topeka on April 16th when the work group presented their proposal to the Board of Regents. Jeffrey Morris, Vice President of Communications and Marketing for Kansas State University, was part of that work group and joins Channel 8 reporter Shanna Schmidt on our studio.
Thank you, guys. I want to thank you for coming this morning and answering a few questions for us about the proposal that came down yesterday from the Kansas Board of Regents. We both reviewed the policy, and even though at the meeting they kind of gave the work group an F, they still adopted a lot of the wording that the work group gave, and they left in a lot of the disciplinary measures. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's interesting. They did honor the work group's intention and include most of the language in the new policy. So we were pleased to see that, and we're really pleased to see the sections about academic freedom and freedom of expression incorporated in the policy. There's still some questions about the final language that's out for review right now, and we have until Friday to actually respond with any comments on the current policy, on the new proposed policy.
So what is your response or K-State's response going to be Friday at 5?
Well, what we're doing is we've sent out messages today asking the employees, students and staff and faculty to submit their opinions to the Board of Regents, and they've asked for that input. There's several ways they can do that, and they'll collect that, and then I think they'll have one more meeting possibly before they vote on May 16th. So they've asked us to let people know so they can give their input to the current language.
So do you believe that there will be another change yet again to the proposal?
I think it's very possible. They've shown a real willingness to listen and come through and change the language. Not everybody's going to be happy. Some people won't be happy with anything. Some people will be happy with some. I think from our standpoint, there was a compromise, and I was pleased to see them adopt some of the language that we've added.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming this morning, and we appreciate you taking care of this for us as a work group member. So
You're welcome.
Thank you. Jeffrey Morris is the Vice President of Communications at Kansas State and a member of the work group, and we appreciate him being with us this afternoon.
Thanks, Shanna, for the update.
Fans at Bill Snyder Family Stadium witnessed a sight that touched many on Saturday.
The spring game introduced a special star. Channel 8 reporter Shelby Dinkle has the story.
Bill Snyder Family Stadium was packed with purple as the fans came to watch the Cats back in action for the annual spring game. The band was there showing off their Emaw pride. Jake Waters' arm was showcased for the fans to see if there was any improvement in the offseason. Then somewhere in the third quarter, a play like no other was seen at the Bill. Coach Snyder sent in a new running back. What happened next shows the true meaning of the Wildcat family.
Waters hands the ball off his shoulder. Trevor going around the right side. Touchdown, K-State!
8-year-old Caden Schroeder ran for a 30-yard touchdown doing his best Darren Sproles imitation. The team lifted him to their shoulders, showing that Caden's spirit can lift a whole stadium to their feet. The past 5 years, Caden has battled acute lymphocytic leukemia, and scoring a Wildcat touchdown is a dream come true. With a little faith and a little purple as well, this goes down as a day that Caden and the rest of the family won't forget.
An emotional and touching moment for Caden and his family. He was definitely the MVP of the game. Wounded warriors are trying to make a transition back into civilian life after returning from deployment. Heroes were welcomed to Fort Riley for a career fair in an effort to help soldiers make that transition. The career fair targeted wounded warriors and ill and injured service members to give them an opportunity to meet with potential employers. The event was open to the public, but the fair was aimed at soldiers whose careers were cut short due to injuries received in Iraq or Afghanistan. Next week, reporter Morgan Hulsman shows us how one of these soldiers is adjusting to a new reality. Coming up, Wildcat fans were able to get their first taste of K-State football. Also, Wildcat Watch Productions is here to visit us.
And later in the show, we go live to the Sunset Zoo with a chimpanzee. All coming up on Channel 8 News.
Mainly for the family atmosphere.
Once you're here, you're greeted with a smiling face. You could step onto K-State's campus and feel that without even talking to anyone, that it's welcoming.
The administrators and faculty, they remember your name.
Anywhere you go, someone's there to help you and to smile at you.
Half of campus is going to be wearing purple, and you know that there's that K-State pride.
It's really evident that you can do something and you can be somebody and you can really define yourself here.
I'm a part of the campus.
K-State to me is home.
And that kind of gives me a sense of place.
A Wildcat legacy from generation to generation.
Where my grandfather went to school.
Where my mother went to school.
It's a legacy scholarship program started by the K-State Alumni Association, specifically for the children and grandchildren of K-State alumni. When you buy a K-State license plate, you fund legacy scholarships.
Show your purple pride and be a part of the Wildcat legacy.
K-State Student Radio brings every game to K-State fans on the Wildcat 91.9.
Klein's going to take a pitch out to the right. Hubert dices his way up and into the end zone for the Wildcat touchdown. Takes the snap. He's going to roll out. He's going to throw deep over the middle of the field for Tyler Lockett. Catches it. 15-10, 5, touchdown, Kansas State.
For all of your K-State sports coverage, tune into the Wildcat 91.9.
To Channel 8 News. Football was back in Manhattan last weekend as K-State held its annual Purple-White Spring Game.
Fans showed up to Bill Snyder Family Stadium early to tailgate and take their first look at the 2014 Wildcats. Channel 8 reporter Shelby Dinkle took it all in and came back with this report.
Bill Snyder Family Stadium with football fans coming in droves to attend the spring game. Wildcat faithfuls came from all over the state for tailgating and barbecuing.
Well, this is my girlfriend over here, and her brother and brother's girlfriend. Just doing a little tailgate action. Some washrooms that I suck at. So.
Whether the focus was a team or just hanging out with friends, everybody was happy to just get another dose of K-State football.
We're looking forward to this. Looks like a beautiful day. Football's great. K-State football's well. Bill Snyder's
Daniel Sams debuted at his new position as wide receiver. Fans are anxious to see how he performs in his new role. At Bill Snyder Family Stadium, I'm Shelby Dinkle.
Caleb, that sure looked like fun. I hope the 2014 season lives up to its expectations.
Absolutely, yeah, Jason. I'm excited for the 2014 season and I'm hoping for a big year.
K-State has many student clubs on campus, one of which happens to be Wildcat Watch, a student-run video production group.
They are a great group to get outside of the classroom experience with. They make projects for live events and even work on short films. Johnny Harvey has more.
Thanks, Jason. We are joined in the studio by Morgan Hulsman. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Now tell us a little bit about Wildcat Watch.
Wildcat Watch is a student-run video group. Everything they do is based off of the students. They work on live events, short films. One of the great things somebody's working on right now is a small documentary over the percussion group on campus.
Nice.
So that's a really cool thing. The video is really awesome for that. And they work with Project Runway, K-State Dancing with the Stars. The list goes on.
Now, do you have a weekly segment that you guys have?
We do. We have Manhattan Tonight, which
Awesome.
is also coming out of the studio where they use the live streaming from Channel 8. So it's a great organization. There's multiple ways to get involved, get outside of the classroom experience. There's ample opportunities there.
Okay. So how do we join Wildcat Watch?
You can talk to me, you can talk to Miley, or Blair Consul, Steve Harvey. There's a few different ones of us, but almost anybody who's involved with Wildcat Watch can get you to a meeting. The meetings are on Thursdays at 6, currently right now for the semester. So, but email one of us, come to a meeting, anything really.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today.
All right. Thank you.
It's always great to have you. It's always great to get involved on campus. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming up later, an update on weather and highlights from the spring game. But first, we take a live shot from the zoo.
This is Trent Ferguson at the Sunset Zoo. We're going to take an exclusive look at the chimpanzee exhibit after this break. Back to you guys.
Kenya, Africa. A baby elephant is trapped in a waterhole. Researchers rush to the rescue, and a 400-pound baby elephant and its agitated, dangerous mother are finally reunited. One of those researchers is K-State alumnus Mark Sowers. While at K-State, he used telemetry to study bison on the Konza Prairie Biological Station, a skill he now uses to study and help elephants, his lifelong dream. That's the Wildcat Way.
Who is going to help safely feed 9 billion people in the year 2050? Who will design sustainable cities that can flourish? Who is going to shed light on dark matter and origins of the universe? Where will we teach the scientists who will engineer our future? At one of the world's top research universities, Kansas State University.
In 2005, a Kansas State aviation student volunteered to be a mechanic for the Global Flyer ground team in Salina, Kansas. Jim Reed's love of aviation and being a mechanic converged that day, and his career took flight. Employed by Virgin Galactic, he now helps build spaceships. Spaceships for those who want to see planet Earth like an astronaut. That's the Wildcat Way.
Welcome back to Channel 8 News. Channel 8 reporter Trent Ferguson is monkeying around at the Sunset Zoo.
How's it hanging out there, Trent?
Hey, this is Trent Ferguson at the Sunset Zoo. I'm here with Ella Casey right now. Ella, why am I wearing this mask?
Well, one of the issues that we have with primates particularly is disease transfer between humans and animals. So we've got you with the mask today because we didn't have a chance to get you tested for tuberculosis. So you could be a carrier and not know it and pass it on to our animals. So that's why you are wearing the mask.
Okay, cool. And then who do we have back here working with these chimpanzees?
We've got Jessie. She's our main keeper for this area, and she's doing some training right now with the chimpanzees. So she's actually training them from a vet standpoint. We're trying to get them used and kind of desensitized to human interaction with the hope that it make it easier to dart them or give them vaccinations or whatever kind of medical treatment we might need to do with the animals.
Okay. How many chimpanzees do we have here at the zoo?
We've got 6. So right now it looks like she's working with Julian. He's our male and he's kind of the dominant animal, so he's kind of head of the troop. And then we've got Hazina and Hasusa, and they're kind of middle-aged females. Susie's our oldest, and she's got a cloudy eye. You might recognize her when you come to the zoo that way. And then we've got 2 young chimps in there. We've got Naya, she's a toddler, and Koto, he is a little over a year old now, and he's hugging mom. That's Hazina, and then Koto, she's hugging him right now.
All right. Well, you can see we've got a great look at the chimps right now. That's all we have right now for you guys at the Sunset Zoo. Back to you guys at the studio.
That sure was fun to get to see those chimpanzees live in their own habitat.
John Zetmeyer is here with weather. John, how will the weather be holding up for those little guys at the zoo?
Well, it's actually pretty nice right now. Let's take a look at our national map. You can see out here on the west coast in Seattle, 81. Down here in Vegas, 80-ish. And then when you look over on the east coast, 73, 70s, kind of the, so nowhere particularly super warm right now, still kind of getting into summer. And as you can see here, high pressure systems, and then over here on the east coast, we have our winds coming down from the Great Lakes, and that's kind of causing that windy kind of sort of thing going on around here. Let's take a look at Kansas now. Over here in western Kansas, we have a lot of wind. Not tornadoes, but you know, you get the idea. Pretty windy. It is tornado season, as we know. It's affecting down south. And then we're going to take a look at the 5-day weather forecast. As you saw earlier on in the show, it is nice outside, and more of it's coming. So as we can see here, 54 today, 59 tomorrow, and then we're going to get nice and sunny for the rest of the weekend. Going to be a really nice weekend. So 72 on Saturday, and then we're going to be nice and sunny, 77 on Sunday. Thanks so much, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, John. Coming up next, football returns to Manhattan.
So stay tuned.
Look at me. I'm so cute and cuddly. I'm also very charming. I'll tell you what you want to hear and sweep you off your feet. I'm also spontaneous, maybe a little erratic at times. I take risks most people wouldn't, but that makes me fun. I'm also very persuasive. I can convince you to do something you'd never dream of doing. And you'll love my stories. I usually stretch the truth a little bit, but you'll believe me because I'm such a good liar. I'm never wrong, and I never feel guilty. I always win. But just look how cute and innocent I look. I can fool you, your parents. I can even fool your friends. Trust me.
From the Little Apple to the Big Apple, through internships, networking, and great professors, Lauren Bishop landed the job of her dreams, working with entertainers and celebrities for a PR firm in New York City. From backstage at the 25th anniversary of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, watching Mick Jagger and Bono rock, to London for the launch of a new luxury hotel, Lauren Bishop is living her dream. That's the Wildcat way.
Shelby Dinkle is here with sports.
Shelby, Snyder's boys were back in action over the weekend, weren't they?
That's right. The Wildcats hosted their annual spring game on Saturday, and there were plenty of storylines to check out. The biggest news coming out of the spring game was the announcement of the plans to renovate the north side of Bill Snyder Family Stadium. We reported a few weeks ago that K-State Athletics was in the process of making the plans to renovate the Vanier Football Complex. On Saturday, with a video announcement on the scoreboard, K-State Athletic Director John Curry unveiled those plans to the public.
West Stadium Center is less than a year old, but that hasn't stopped John Curry and Kurt Schultz from continuing to be aggressive in renovating the Bill. On Saturday, Curry displayed plans to completely redo the Vanier Football Complex. The project will cost $65 million and will be completed during the next offseason. The renovations will include brand new facilities for the team, including a weight room and a hydrotherapy room. Improved seating will also be a part of the project. K-State has raised roughly 2/3 of the $65 million.
There will be no tax dollars or university funds going into this project, just as there have not been any tax dollars or university funds going into the last $125 million of athletics projects.
As part of the logistics of building the new complex, Curry said that the Bramlage Coliseum floor will be converted into a weight room during the summer of 2015 to accommodate the football team.
Once basketball season ends, we can really set up a weight room in Bramlage on the floor, because now that we have the basketball training facility, we have the flexibility to not have to use Bramlage. And then next summer, the summer of 2015, Bramlage will serve as our during the summer training period. Bramlage will serve as our strength and conditioning center.
The new Vanier complex will give Bill Snyder Family Stadium a whole new look, but Curry isn't done yet. The construction project is just phase 3 of what is a 6-phase master plan to overhaul all of the athletic facilities at Kansas State.
And I came back from that and I walked into Laird's office and started talking about, hey, we got to do this and this and this and this.
Team made up of the starters outbested the white team with a score of 23-13 on Saturday afternoon. Fresh off of a win in the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, fans at the Bill Snyder Family Stadium got their first look at the 2014 K-State Wildcats. Quarterback Jake Waters had up and downs, racking up 227 yards on 26 of 38 passing with 1 interception. Waters should have had 2 touchdowns on the day, but wideout Curry Sexton dropped an easy score in the end zone, and Deontay Burton's catch was weighed off after he bobbled it. Former quarterback Daniel Sams also made his debut at wide receiver in the spring game. Waters' old backup is now switching to receiver this upcoming season. He finished the game with 2 catches for 9 yards. Sams also saw action on special teams, returning kicks and punts, having a nice return on one, but muffing the other one. Glenn Gronkowski's 14-yard touchdown run in the first quarter set the tone for the purple team, but running back Charles Jones dominated the running game, putting up 73 yards on 20 carries, giving him the apparent edge in the contest for the battle of starting running back this fall. K-State's first game for the 2014 season is set for August 30th against Stephen F. Austin, right here in Manhattan at Bill Snyder Family Stadium.
Thanks for the sports update, Shelby. I'm excited to see what the Wildcats have in store this upcoming season.
Be sure to stay tuned for a last look at weather.
It was a routine grain elevator inspection until the explosions began. Until a blast tossed him more than 300 feet. Then it became the event that changed Kevin Saunders forever. The body of this K-State alum was broken, but his spirit, well, that spirit not only survived, it thrived. Against all odds, Saunders transformed himself into the world's greatest wheelchair athlete, one of America's premier motivational speakers, and the first Paralympian appointed to the President's Council on Physical Fitness, Sport, and Nutrition. Where there's a Wildcat, there's a way. Nearly 150 years ago, the first native limestone was carved into the campus of Kansas State University. Since that time, K-State has known what it takes to rise to the challenge. Now, we're challenging ourselves to become a top 50 public research university by the year 2025. To reach that status, our research dollars, endowment, career award winners, and patents are growing to match our internationally recognized programs and research. K-State 2025 is more than a challenge, it's a commitment. A commitment we'll keep. Because where there's a Wildcat, there's a way.
We have just enough time to take one last look outside.
John, how's it looking outside, buddy?
Well, actually, the sun continues to come out, so if you don't have any plans for later on today, maybe you head outside, hang out with your friends, play some tennis, do something. I mean, there are some clouds rolling in now, as you kind of see these big clouds, but the sun's supposed to stay out for most of the day, and it's getting kind of hot in this jacket, so I might want to take that off and put on some shorts for my next class. So thanks so much, guys. Back to you.
Well, that's all the time we have for in this show.
You can find Channel 8 News on Facebook at Channel 8 News KSU and at Channel 8 KSU on Twitter. For all the Channel 8 News team, thanks for watching.
Join us next week for the semester's final edition of Channel 8 News.